Midnight Ramen is a minimally edited, live recorded podcast that takes place at midnight. Although Michael may not be consuming food, it's time to get your bowls out. It's chow time.
But welcome back to you. Break stride, I'm sailing me. Free falling, choose my enemy. Free from the things you say. It will all come back someday.
Good evening, gamers and other folks alike. I hope y'all are having a good one tonight. You are listening to Midnight Ramen with you, Michael. And I think that's it. If you want to listen to this live, you can go to twitch.tv/MeltAlertOriginal, all one word, where you can not only watch this live, but you can also interact in chat. You can be in the chat, making this episode happen, and just shaping it, sculpting it. You get a peek into my Amazonian mind. That's not funny anymore. It's been a week. That joke isn't funny. Joking about Francis Ford Coppola's Megapolis, it's not funny anymore. Time to move on. You can also, why am I blanking? You can also watch the after show where I not only edit the podcast, you can watch me do other things as well and just hang out and chill as I try to get the episode ready to go up on other things, such as Spotify and YouTube, and maybe others in the future. But I'll get to them. I'll actually get to them compared to getting it on Spotify and something I'm about to talk about in a second before whatever. I'm actually going to try and make an active effort to get him onto other things, before blank happens. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when that happens, when I'm able to do it. But yeah, just know what's happening. At least sooner rather than later. If I can do it, I'll do it. But anyway. On my YouTube channel, you can not only watch these edited episodes, but you can watch some other content that I make. I mean, all this month I'm going to be posting just Magic the Gathering deck decks because it's something to do. I was just playing some games with my buddy Kyle and with Cam and Kyle at Outsider and at Crowmere River on twitch.tv. Cam, Outsider FM. And I've used this stuff a lot in my videos, and Outsider FM on YouTube, on Twitch, some other things. I don't know what he has, but yeah. And they have a YouTube channel called Cardboard Cauldron, but they have not uploaded anything yet. And I'm like, guys, you need to upload something. They have a video that they've made a long time ago done. I don't even know where they posted it or who posted it, but it's probably not relevant anymore because there's been many sets that have already came and went. But yeah. Also on Spotify, as we're talking about Spotify, keeping with my promises, I like to keep my promises when it's something this big. So I've been meeting a lot of goals this year. I think the one goal that I'm not going to make is doubling my followers on Twitch. It's whatever. I'm fine with that. Growth isn't really important. It's more about, I don't know. Actually, if anything, I've more grown in my YouTube channel. That has actually grown more than anything else. And that's where I'll say close enough. Uh, but what I will say, oh yeah, Spotify. Sorry, I got a little off track there. On Spotify, I'm keeping my promises, and it's been 5 years. 5 years since what, you may ask? 5 years since Midnight Ramen, the radio show, started airing. First episode is up right now. Technically, it's episode 2, but I didn't have the first episode recorded because I was a dummy. And yeah, so the first, technically second episode of it is on there, and that's Midnight Ramen, the Livecast on Spotify. And when you listen to it, there's an actual playlist in the episode description that you can go to, a Spotify playlist that I made. It's public, that you can listen to the radio, the show itself. Not like the actual like episode, the raw file. No, you can listen to the music I was listening to that night, as best as I can. Because some of the songs I can't find, or like aren't there, or I just didn't look hard enough, honestly. But I think that's probably going to only be a Spotify thing, at least for now. I don't know, but yeah, go to Spotify for that because it's interesting, and you can get it's trimmed down, sorta. It's mainly so that like I don't do like call the station a lot, or say the news things, because the news things did take up a lot. But outside of that, it's pretty much the same as it was. The same way. I want to keep the raw essence of the show, so like every ahs, actuallys, in fact, and what was I saying? That like those, all my mannerisms are still always going to be in there, unless if it's like absurd. I don't know. Unless if it's something that I do need to actually edit, then it's staying in. Yeah. Like even right now. But there's one thing about it too that I need to get back onto it, because I just remembered as I upload the first one, I could still edit it and put it back up on Spotify. If you listen to it like right away, maybe a little bit more, I don't know how long it'll take me to fix. But there's a thing, at least with the earlier episodes. I don't know about the later episodes because I haven't really gotten to them. But with the earlier episodes, if you listen loud enough or closely enough, you can hear like a weird like I don't know, like shing noise, like different frequencies and stuff like that, and like weird squeaky stuff. That's because I want to say it's because of the recording system. I'm not sure exactly, but I was able to at least EQ it out a little bit, because I remember doing it in college for like a thing where a project where I did like a best of little bits, where I did edit that little like sound out. I didn't get it perfect, but I think the one thing listening back to it on the car ride home today was that like it needed to be loud, like it just needed to be louder in general, but that frequency stuff I need to try to edit out, or make easier, mix it out. Which if it's the way that it is, and if I'm able to keep the same EQ, I'm gonna just basically use that for every single one that I do. But no, it's a fun thing. It's a 5th year anniversary, kind of due to me procrastinating, but luckily I was able to get it done. Yeah. Funny story about me trying to actually get it done. So I got Ableton because I wanted to get a different DAW for years now, for audio production, because I want to get back into music potentially, make stuff. So I'm like, all right, I will use Ableton because Pro Tools, they go on a subscription-based thing, and honestly, I don't remember my stuff, and I don't care to open it, and it doesn't really want to work on my Windows computer. So, something else. So I knew Ableton worked, but I'm not used to the UI just yet. So like it's newer to me, but it's a good DAW. So I use that. And what else? So I was going to do some stuff with it at work over the weekend because like it was a slower day. Like I didn't really have to do a whole ton. So the plan I had in mind was to keep my computer on and use Parsec, which is this thing that just basically allows you to connect computers together to do things like control manually from a distance or whatever. And I didn't get it to work. I'm like, God dang it. I wanted it to work, but it didn't work. So it's like, shit, I'm at work. I can't really do anything. I can't really go home. I would have to clock out. And it's like, and if I leave, there's only one person here, and I don't want to leave him alone. That's not cool. But it's like, damn it. So I kind of rushed in. I don't want to say I did a rush job. I just didn't do the full stuff that I wanted to do for the episode just yet. But if you are listening to it right away, you are getting the closest thing to what you would have been hearing, plus some other things that I don't know. I mean, it is edited down. I did like scrub through and make sure like, oh, if I'm saying the station's phone number, I'm not saying that. If I say that, like the actual station, whatever, like I do say the station because like I love my time that I had at KMSC, that I played there or was DJ there. Like I do say Dragon Radio, KMSC, Dragon Radio, and that's it. That's the only thing from that I do because it's a station call. And honestly, if you can pull up their station, they have a website. It's pretty good. They have a good web browser player, and they even have schedules up. I haven't been there in a long time, or been on it in a while, but they, students do shows on there, and it's decent, and they keep like a weekly schedule and things like that. That's pretty cool. I don't know how up to date it is now, because it's been a while since I've been on there, but it honestly, it's nice. Like you can listen live. That's pretty cool. What else? What else was I gonna say? But yeah, like new stuff, like I'd probably say the new stuff once, maybe twice, unless if it's relevant to like something else I'm saying. Like I will only have like one news time just to be like, hey, here's what was happening during this time, just as like a little time capsule, and that's it. Unless if it's relevant to the conversation, because I know one episode, I think it's earlier on. One episode earlier on, I do talk about like something that's like, I was talking about some event and it's like led me into this rabbit hole. I can't remember, about my professor or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was or what the event was, but I remember having a whole segment in an episode on that. I think that was part of one of my projects, my best ofs things that I did for one of my projects. Ooh, camera's getting red. Vibe check. Vibe check. Vibe check. There we go. Now we're chilled out. But yeah, actually, I want to talk about the times that I had at the radio station, because before this was a live cast, and I've said this a number of times on like previous episodes, and even ones that aren't on Spotify or whatever the hell, way in the past. But when this was a radio show, I had to plan this out a lot. Like, I had to do a lot of things to make this work, to make it work. And I had a lot of fun times working on it. So what I would do on a normal day of an episode, I would go in, I would drive my car to like basically the exact same parking spot that I would every night, or every time. Exact same parking spot. There's like only maybe it's like 6-ish parking spots. Or so, I don't really know how many, but not many parking spots where it is. So I'd always park in the exact same parking spot. And because like it's campus parking. As long as I have my student thing, it's fine. And it's also late at night, so who's going to care? The campus cops couldn't do shit. So I would always park there, walk right in, go upstairs. It's 11 o'clock. Show starts at midnight, obviously. I would curate the songs I would have for my show because like the faster I had, the quicker that I got the show prepared and ready to go, the better. So I would block out the 15-minute segments. I get like 2, maybe 3 songs, maybe 1, depending on the day, or depending on the segment or so, and block it out. So I would have like these 15-minute chunks of like, say, I think 7 minutes was my sweet spot for music, or when it came to like how long I wanted 15 minutes for. So I'd have 7 minutes to talk ish and 7 minutes for music. 7 minutes to talk, 7 minutes for music, around there. So every 15 minutes. Unless if it was my JoJo's Bizarre Radio segment, which I only had 1 song during that segment, and that was the song. Although I think for this episode, the first episode that I put out, that one I did like start at 30 minutes, talked a little bit, played a song, came back, and then did the JoJo's Bizarre Radio segment. But in future episodes, and just like, oh, it's 30 minutes, here's some new stuff, or whatever, and then went straight into the bit. I don't even think sometimes that I did that, I even said any news things. Because like, what I technically could have gotten away with, but what I didn't do as a DJ, every like half an hour you got to do a station call, or every hour you have to at least do a station call, or like 30 minutes or so. I can't remember exactly. Technically, I think it was supposed to be 15, but like every DJ that I heard on the air maybe did it once every 30 minutes and did some news and weather stuff. So I did that every segment. But I didn't do like, for news things, I only did like, once I really got into it, I only did like maybe 1 or 2 things, like, oh, here's what's happening on this day. And then like the next 15-minute segment, oh, here's what's happening over the weekend. And then I do like, here's for the bottom of the hour, do like, here's what's happening today, tomorrow, and then, next event later. Like, that's how I would kind of alternate it, typically. But yeah. And then and like the two rules obviously were that. And then you have to play, I think, 3 songs off the top 30 each hour, at least 3. So I did like 3 or 4, depending. So like each break pretty much had one, except for the JoJo's Bizarre Radio segment, which didn't, typically, unless the song was short, which usually not. But yeah, those. What else did I have? Of course, you couldn't really curse. You couldn't swear. There are 2 times that it did happen. I think one was an oopsie doopsie by me. One was an oops by my girlfriend at the time. Only 2 times that it happened. And I think the time that I actually did it, I like did like a little note to be like, hey, I oopsed. I said I apologize on the air. Blah, 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 blah. And that's it. I think I messaged my manager and she was like, yeah, dude, chill. And plus, like, my show being where it was and where it is, like, it's at midnight. Who's gonna give a shit? Who's gonna give a shit? Like, no one. I mean, like, yes, you're not supposed to, and if the FCC got onto it, yeah, they will be on my case. But at the same time, it didn't matter too much. You know? I mean, it mattered, but it didn't really matter. So, like, oh crap was something that, like, I couldn't do. Oh shit. I think crap was, or fuck. Fuck was a bad one. There are technically acceptable swears. Like, I can't think of anyone. Like, maybe bitch. I don't know. But, you know, I tried to avoid him. Which, for me, honestly, it's not hard for me to do it. It's just I gotta be aware that I'm doing it, you know? I just gotta be aware that I am on the air. Like right now, what I'm doing for the live cast for this, I don't, because like it's Twitch. Like, unless if I like spouted slurs, I'm fine, dude. I'm fine. I'm like, or hate speech. Like, I'm fine. Like, and I wouldn't do that. Just general. Because I'm not about that. Unless if it's like, you know, playing in a video game, whatever. But even then, it's kind of a bit. Oh, it feels like there's long hairs in my nose. So also like, so I would always like plan all my things, and there were like CDs nuts. Got them. So we have CD players, record player. What else do we have? The online computer thing that we'd have, and we have individual profiles as well. I didn't really use the online music until later, like using the computer for the music, because you can we could drag stuff and make it for our show, make it work. Which I think later, as I got to be like later on in my DJ stuff, I was starting to really build out my music profile on there, and there's some pretty good stuff that I put on there. Like, I even had like my intro that when it comes to that, like for when I'm, you know, doing the retrospective 5-year episodes for each of them, which that's what the radio show podcast is about, just like a 5-year retrospective. I'd be like, hey, here's a fun fact, blah 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 blah. Like, this was the first episode that I did this, or this was the first episode that I did that, or this was the episode that I had this go on, or yada yada yada, or this was the episode right before COVID. Because that's literally going to be a point, because I will get to a certain point of the episodes where it's like, I have to stop. I literally have to stop because COVID happened. What was supposed to be spring break turned into a long extended period of time that nothing happened. Like a whole half of a semester, and then summer. And then, like, I didn't really start until, like, mid-September. So it's like, ugh. But even then, I had, like, a lot of shows. And I don't know if I'm going to do... No, I'm not going to do that one. I did another, like, sister show called JoJo's Bizarre Radio, which is based off of a bit that I did in Midnight Ramen. But it was more about, like, talking about the references, like, spitballing as fast as I can, which I probably shouldn't have done. Not in like I was swearing or anything, but like I went way too fast. It was a specialty show. And what I mean by specialty show was like I had to make a whole list beforehand and have it approved by the station manager or whatever. Make sure before I went on the air, at least 24 hours before, that the program was ready to go. The lineup was ready. Like I had things to go talk about. Like that show, honestly, like I love doing it, but it was a fucking mess. It was a fucking mess. because like I had to make sure all my music was ready to go. I did it early in the morning, so it was fucked. Like late night show, early morning show, very bad, very bad for me. And yeah, I just had to basically, I recycled a lot of my music and buy a lot of music solely because of that show. It's just not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but having to do that was a lot. It was so much. And honestly, I think I was probably the only person in like the longest time that used the record player, because even the, you know, the staff, the actual like, you know, adult staff that was running the station or like help liaisoning the station, kind of like a club, was like, yeah, no one's really used that. And I remember one time talking with him and my professor, like my head professor, and just being like, yeah, here's what's going on at the studio. My show's going well, whatever. And I remember one time, well, in that conversation, he's like, oh yeah, you can change your audio file from like a shitty MP3 to a WAV file. That's like, so like, it's going to be bigger, obviously, but it's going to be better quality. I'm like, dude, I wish I knew this before. Although I don't think there's a huge difference between the MP3 and the WAV, or was whatever file it was. I think it was a WAV. I think maybe bit size, but like, honestly, I don't know. But yeah, that was the main difference, I guess. I don't really know. I'm watching as my stream does. This is one for the actual audio listeners / the later viewers or whatever the hell. It's fine. It's fine. I saw it happen a couple times, so it's whatever. But I love talking about this because like it was the time that I had there was so fun. It was very fun. Like I remember playing a lot of like some of the songs, like when I was editing this first one, just even this first episode, like I was finding the songs on Spotify and it's like, oh my God, I remember this album. Oh my God, I remember this album. I remember like, oh, I know this album because they played it numerous times throughout my entire time, the entire time that I was at the station. Like one that I remember was Apollo by Burnout. The album was called Apollo by Burnouts from Outer Space. I play that shit a lot because it's good. One of the tracks that I played a lot was Pair of Dice. And I think maybe, what other one did I play from that one that I played a lot? It was like the end one. It's Over. It's Over was another one. And Dead Saints Day that I also did. I know, like I like that album. My friend Penny reviewed that one, like I think just right before I really started doing the show, and it was on the top 30, as I said in the episode, and it sounds so much like David Bowie, and this was not like long after he passed away, if I remember correctly. I can't remember when he passed, but like that album sounds so much like him, like, and it fits like that. I feel like not like a poppy David Bowie, but like that, like rock, like it's got a full range of emotions or whatever the hell of like genre. I don't know, genre emotion stuff. It was good, honestly. One of my probably my most played albums there. And then there was another one that later in the run times of my shows was Star Maker by Honey Harper. That was one that I reviewed, and I think I might have talked about the album before, but that's one that if I were to put it on in my car all the way down, playing that thing all the way down. I mean, yeah, it has some like there's one or two stinkers that are like slower, but like if I'm on a road trip and I just put that thing on, ooh, yeah, I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping it. I'm not skipping. No skips. But that album is actually very special to me because I took that album right before spring break to review because I needed to catch up on some. I took 2 of them. One of them, I don't know what happened to. That thing just straight up disappeared. And I wish I would have, I kind of wish I would have taken this album or that album because I just absolutely loved it because I know, no offense, I think people did kind of steal from there sometimes. And then we did also get rid of our old back catalog of like, oh, we need to get rid of some of them. And I think that was like almost on the chopping block, and I was like just about to like nudge it in there. I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was in the bin, but I took it out. But I also was like, what if I took it? I had that thought. Anyways. So when I initially, I was wanting to review it during spring break, but I needed a way to play it, and my car at the time didn't have a CD player. So I was like, shit, I gotta find a way to do it. So I'm like, okay, when I go home, I probably do have a CD player. I didn't get to do it. And, right before I was about to, like, I was heading back, I was like, oh, okay, I'll just quick review it back at, when I get back at my apartment and do it there. Because I know we have a CD player there. Then as I'm going back, it's St. Patrick's Day. My grandpa dies, like, oh, go back. And then, take a day. It was still spring break, so I had time. It was like Thursday or something like that. I can't remember. And before the weekend was over, COVID hit in. And it was like about to really kick in. And I don't think lockdown really happened until like a week later or something like that. But like COVID extended it. We weren't sure how long it was going to be. So I think the first initial wave of it was like, okay, we're going to extend spring break out a week. And then a week turned into like, okay, we're going to do, the lockdown. And a day before like Minnesota's lockdown took into effect, me and my dad's friend took his car. I drove to his place and we took his car, which had a CD player. And we drove all the way up there and we listened to both of those albums. And we took a pee break in, I can't remember, was it Cedar Rapids or Point? No, not Cedar Rapids. Sauk Center, I think it was. Kind of before Alexander, I think it was Sauk Center. We got there. First album was done. I'm pretty sure. I looked at the second one and I'm like, I don't know if he's going to like this one. And put the first track on and he's like, damn, this is good. And so we kept listening and we kept listening. And I'm like, this is an amazing album, especially for like this trip that's like, see the middle of buttfuck nowhere. You see fields to your left, fields to your right, open road up ahead, no one in sight. Just you, the open road, and just music. Perfect. Nature, it's nothing but your car, nature, and music. Chef's kiss. I love doing that. But let's put a pause on some of these stories and let's get into some magic cards. I'll do these actually pretty quick. I just got done playing some with as I was talking before, Cam and Kyle. That was a fun game we had. I was playing I'm not actually going to say what deck I'm doing. If you want to see what deck I'm going to be doing, I think that might be my next video. If you're listening to this early, that's going to be my next video on my YouTube channel. I think it's going to be that deck because it's not a bad deck. It's not a bad deck. I have to say. But the theme, you kind of have a theme, and music, ambient music by Outsider is going to be used for that. So listen to that. But so Cam Outsider played as his famous Niv Mizzet deck that loves to ping things and just spell sling because it's his pet deck. He loves Izzet colors. And then Kyle was playing this Rule Zero thing where he is like Tameo, but it's like not white, blue, and green. It was white, blue, and green. I can't remember what the colors. Azorius? Not Azorius. There's a word for it, but I can't remember. So it was that. I'm just gonna start opening this pack, do a pack trick. For pack one, if I see something cool, I'll say it. This is more for the visual whatevers. But he was playing, Rule Zero thing because like technically the way that he has it doesn't work, but it kind of does. So we're like, okay, it's about drawing a shit ton of cards, and it was about to pop off and win, but actually he did win. What am I saying? He did win. The foil for this first pack was a Clockwork Percussionist. We got an Etch Cornfield. Oh, Abhorrent. Ooh, Abhorrent Oculus. This is actually a spiking card, or a card that's going up in price. An additional cost to this spell: exile 6 cards from your graveyard. Flying. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, manifest Dread. Each opponent's upkeep. That's crazy. Ooh, that's nice. It's a 5/5. Fear of Exposure for that last card. Which is, whatever. But like, yeah, Kyle's deck is about drawing a shit ton of cards really, really quickly. And make it so that he can win by drawing so many cards. This is pack 2. And the way that he won was by playing Teferi's Protection, because I mentioned he can just do it and win. I'm just like, he could just do it. And it's like, let's get this over with. It's like we've been playing for like 2 hours, and it's like, get it over with. I know you're gonna do it. You can win this. Like, let's just get it over with. Patchwork Beastie for the foil. Strangled Cemetery. Holy shit, another mythic. We got an Overlord of the Boiler Bilges? Impending 4. 2 and red. When it enters or attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target. Not bad. One behind that was a Bear Straight Worm. The spell cannot be countered. Trample and Haste. Delirium for 2 and 2 green. Return it from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finale counter on it. Activate only if there are 4 more. Yeah, that's not bad packs. That's only 2. Maybe something big in this third one. I opened 2 packs yesterday because my girlfriend was over and she's like, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling the itch to open packs, to gamble. And I opened the first pack, not really anything in there. It was fine. And she's like, open another. I'm like, all right. I opened it and I got a Kaito. I'm like, son of a bitch, that's a good card. She's like, yeah. So yeah. Pack 3. I'm just gonna get today the good stuff. Ooh, Everywhere. I haven't even seen one of these. This Everywhere token. Hell yeah. Everything Everywhere all at once. The foil is a Hardened Escort. Another Etched Cornfield. The rare is a Marvin. I actually do like Marvin. And then behind it, we got another rare. So this is a W pack, even though it's not as, flashy as the other 2. When it enters, return an enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand and unlock. Oh, actually, this is a good one. Enters the battlefield, return an enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand, or unlock a locked door of a room you control. Eerie. Whenever enchantment you control enters, whenever you fully unlock a room, create a 3/1 spirit creature token with flying. So this is a pretty good card. I'm not, no joke. That's a good card. So these were all good banger packs. I will not lie. These were pretty good packs. I don't want to look them up, but holy shit, those were actually pretty good. Like, yeah. Like, damn. I will say it again. The store that I get these boxes that I open on stream, or for the show from, the place I get them, always hit. Always hit. I'm like hit my leg. It might be haunted. Oh, speaking of haunting, I'll get back to more radio stories in a second, like stuff that I did there. But speaking of haunting, and it's October, so I might as well, or I might save it for another episode. You know what? I'll save it for the next episode if I remember it. Just say, the haunting of the house. I think I've already talked about how I haunted, my house. Whatever. Short for next time. You know what? I can. I don't. It's not. It won't take that long. So, when I was a kid, me for like 2 of my birthday parties, we've had boy sleepovers, which are fucking horrible ideas. Don't do that shit. Girls, it's fine. With guys, don't. It's just chaos. It's just chaos. I don't think we really broke anything that I can think of, but we wrecked house. And we cursed my house a little bit. We haunted my house for like a long time. So one of the games that we played was called like Cat Scratch. So what you would do is you have someone on the ground, like eyes closed, and then another person would be rubbing their temples, and they'd be telling the story. The person that's lying on the ground, they'd be rubbing their temples, and then like telling the story, and then at some random point, you say Cat Scratch, and then the person that's lying on the ground would sit up, and if they had scratches on their back, it wouldn't happen every single time, but when they did, it was basically tag. So if you got tagged, you were the one that was going next. So yeah, that's kind of it. But because I think we did it so much, we started actually seeing ghosts. Like the second year that we did it, we thought my sister was outside holding a lantern or something like that. Nope. She was inside the whole time. Like, there was a girl, like the story was, and I didn't see it, but there was like a girl outside that like got close enough to the window that you could maybe kind of see her like squatting down and like kind of reaching out to like poke the window. Yeah, we got haunted for a little while. And then after that, we'd have like occasional like doors randomly closing, eerie sounds, creaks and things in the house. It's like, yeah, the house is haunted. But not like anything malicious or anything. But yeah, our house, I mean, it's still kind of haunted, but not very. Not very. And honestly, if it is, they're chill spirits. Chill as hell. They're awesome. And I'm not trying to pander to them, but like, chill. They're cool. They are cool. Because like a door closing once in a while or whatever, you hear creaking, like that's fine. That's fine in terms of haunting. It's not bad. Could be worse. Could be a lot worse. But nothing too extreme. But yeah, that's kind of how. See, that didn't take too long. But no, yeah, this did happen. But some more stories about like the radio station. I think that when I was ending my time at the college, I should have done it earlier if I had more time or something like that. I feel like I should have gone through a lot more of the records And just because no one reviewed them. No one reviewed them. No, like I took on a project where I basically alphabetized every single one and like kind of sorted them out. And I didn't finish. I barely got past AC/DC, for fuck's sake. The A's, I barely got past them. I think. I don't think I got really far at all. I started reviewing the records, and if they're still there today, you can find, especially the AC/DC records for sure, because I know I did them. You can find my reviews of them, every single one of them, or all the one that they had at the time. But yeah, some very, very good records too. And very like, how the hell did they get this? I do not know. And like, and some of them like, I'm afraid to put a sticker on this, a review sticker, because this is probably worth a lot. If someone were to like, not to say if anyone were to take it, but if someone were to have this, it would be worth a lot. Because even if it was played, like, I know they were definitely played a lot back in the day, but like even so, oh my god, they were in good condition, like very good condition. Like they kept those records clean and good. Yeah, I had to do it there because I think my record player at my apartment died. So I'm just sitting there in the station just listening to that all day, or like for hours at a time. It was crazy. That was a fun. Those were fun. Those days were fun. Um, I kind of wish I continued that project, but I didn't. And plus, then I also wasn't a student anymore, so I couldn't really do it. I couldn't really do it. It was summer, and also it didn't work. Like he would not work. Oh, shit! Actually, a story from that. What I was talking from before the magic break. So when I brought the CDs back, because it's a university, you can't have guns on, and you know, he had a gun on him. I mean, he has the stuff and whatever for it, but like he didn't even think about it until later, until like he got off site. He's like, "Oh, I had a registered firearm in my car. I didn't even know." And he walked inside. I'm like, ugh. So you're saying, oh, and that's all like, yeah, he was driving around because I need to go grab my instrument so I could practice and play. So I had to do that. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go drive around. And that's when he noticed. He's like, oh shit, I need to be quick. I have a gun in my car. I mean, and it's registered and it's all clean, whatever. But obviously, you can't be on a campus with one. And he's like, oh shit. But like, literally dodged a bullet there. Uh, yeah, that was just a little funny anecdote, and I do remember, uh, who was there in the office. I was like gonna knock on the door and like bring him in, but obviously, I think even at that point, I think the masks were already in place, so it's like I didn't really want to interface, and plus I had to be going, so it's like kind of that sort of thing. But that was actually, oh man, I do miss those times. And the usual, what I did when I was rating an album, the station's rating system was like 1 through 4. I think 1 was like on like not really good. 2 was like okay. 3 is great. 4 is like, you know, on their better side, like best song of the album, better side. What I did a 5 system. 1 would be like bad / you should not play this at all, period. It's like bad, or you shouldn't play this for either it being explicit or there's a hair on the screen. Either it being explicit or just not good content. 2 would be like, it's not good. 3 is, it's all right. 4 would be like, oh yeah, this is good. And 5 would be like, oh, this track, it's good. It's really good. So that's what I would rate my albums from. And then I think at the end, I don't know if they had us do like a overall rating, but I think I did that and gave some notes on it as well. I mean, you had to give some notes on it, but yeah. And you had to do at least one album a week. And I've had a lot of good ones. I had a lot of stinkers. I think, depending on the week, I sometimes did 1 or 2. I think early on I didn't do that many. And they'd also be on our case to make sure that we were doing them. But like I think even when I was doing the like starting out the show, I was doing them. I didn't do a whole ton of them, but I think once I like got really into doing the show, I made sure I had at least 1 or 2. Like I would take out like I think 2 at a time. Sometimes 3. I think sometimes I did do 3. Like I would take like a couple home back to the apartment and have them there back the next day. Like no joke. I would do like a couple of them. Because like usually when you're reviewing an album, it takes like about an hour. About an hour, write your name, write the date, write the album, whatever. Just like start going through them. It would usually take me about an hour per. And if a song was good, yeah. If I got the vibe of the song sometimes and I was like, okay, I don't really like it, I would, I don't really like if I got the vibe and I'm like, I'm going to go on the next one. I would do that sometimes, not every time, but sometimes. But for the most part, I would definitely make sure that like, because there were songs that be like, oh, this song is 5 minutes long. I'm like 2 minutes in, and it's like, oh, it sounds like it's the end of the song. Why is there 3 minutes left still? Like those kinds of situations where like I didn't have enough time to like understand why. If the time was right and I knew that the song was ending or getting close to the end, I would skip. But typically I wouldn't. But I did find quite a few albums sold because of it. And some CDs I think got a lot more attention than others just because of the way that they were put on the shelf or just the way that they had them. Because like some CDs, like I knew like even I reviewed them and they end up in the like, oh, these are going to sell or to the storage thing. And there were other ones that were like, this album came out in 2002 and it's been here since then and it has not gotten into that bin. It's like, there's other artists of the exact same genre that kind of want the exposure. So let's kind of want that playtime. So let's trade this one out. This one needs to go. And we'd always get advanced copies. I mean, the station would get advanced copies so that you would be able to learn it. And I didn't do it, but like you could, if you were to, you could set up interviews with artists if you could, like if you were like wanting to reach out. Some people did, or some of them were like, hey, can someone from your station do it? Some people did do that. I didn't, because a lot of the times that when the interviews wanted to happen were like, oh, it's the middle of the day. I can't do that. Like it's on a Wednesday afternoon. I can't do that. Oh, it's Thursday at night. It's like, that's when I worked. I can't do that. But whatever. Oh, Focus. Bring it back. Make it blue. That's a little red. Whatever. You know what? Let's bring it in a little bit. Oh, I didn't even talk about the set. So I was cleaning my rooms, and well, this to my right, the screen's left, right behind my Melted Liquor Original Design. A couple weeks ago when I mentioned like, oh, I was gonna go see Gradients, I got a signed poster from them because they're just cool guys, and I also did pay them. I think I might have mentioned that in the episode that afterwards, but I did pay them more for, commission or whatever the hell. Not commission. Compensation. I don't know, whatever the term is. Yes. But I paid them a bit more, so it's like, and they also signed some, like, because I know them. It's like, not to say that it's like, oh, I could have got, like, they didn't have to sign it, but they did. And I'm like, that's nice of them. And I gave them extra money because of that. And then the other picture that's in my lower left-hand corner, your lower right corner, that's a little art mosaic from a magic art mosaic that my girlfriend got me. Or picture. It's like a blown up picture from the Bloomborough set. It's Runaway Together. It's real nice. It's got an otter and a frog on a boat, and I think the flavor text is like no one knew where the otter and the frog, or I can't remember their names were, but people really didn't like people like essentially what it was is like people didn't know where they were, but they knew where they were, and they weren't surprised. Like, even if they did find him, they wouldn't be surprised. It's real nice, and I like it. It's real cute. I love it. And it's behind a picture of us, and the Alakazam that's been in, like, since in my streaming setup for freaking years. Same with this F. Same with this F. And Bacon. Hey, yeah. Yeah, and both of the Bacon banner and the photo were from this year. And the original sign was from last year. So yeah. You know what? It's time to wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. So if you want to watch this live, you can go to twitch.tv/meltedliquoriginal. We can interact and chat. You can watch the after show. And yeah, and you don't have to watch it like the initial live thing. You can watch it for up to 2 weeks, all unedited, all whatever, on Twitch until it goes away. But you can watch the edited version. Oh, and you can also watch the after show on Twitch as well. But you can watch the edited version that I work on in the after show on YouTube. And you can listen to it on Spotify as well as my radio show that I'm starting to put out. I mean, this is honestly a big ad for that because, yeah, the radio show, I had a fun time doing it. I had a really, 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 really fun time doing it. And if I were to do it all again, I treasure it even more. God damn, it was fun. It was really fun. I do miss it, but that's life. Yeah. I do miss it, but like, hey, if I had the chance to do it again, I'd do it. Like, hell, I could do it now. I don't have a reason to do it, and I also don't have any rights to, be publicly playing music and doing that copyright stuff. But hey, I can do it. I know how to do it. And honestly, some of the radio DJs out there, part of my language, fucking suck. Fucking suck. Like, and they have other people to talk with too. It's like, you can't make a, like I can't remember what, I'm getting off topic, but like, I can't remember what station it was, But like one of the DJs literally didn't know who Haley Williams is from Paramore. And they're like my age. Are you fucking dumb? Are you that dense? Like, I get it, but also at the same time, dude, you call yourself like a big nerd and whatever, but like if you're going into, like, I feel like there are certain things, like, you don't know Paramore. It's like, as a early Gen Zer, you should not say that. You shouldn't know who, like, you should know who Fall Out Boy is. You should know My Chemical Romance. You should know Panic at the Disco. You should know Paramore. Like, I don't care what kind of music you're into. Like, you should know that. You should know what they sound like. That's no excuse. And plus, like, Haley Williams is not a hard voice to find out. And, oh no, it was Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne, like, how the fuck, bro? Get off. Like, get off the air. Like, how, like, come on. And you're a radio DJ. Get off. Dude. Anyway, enough rambling and ranting on that one. Going back to my YouTube channel, you can also watch other stuff that I make on there. I do other videos as well as this. I feel like I should do like 2 separate channels, maybe next year. I think that's maybe what I'll do next year is move this over to a different one. Maybe. Or keep this on here and move my actual programming onto a different one. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. Thank you to Granians for the use of this song. Used to it off of the Call. Love the guys. Honestly, I might keep this where it is for the show. Because, like, this looks banger. I don't know where to put it. But, like, where it is right now, that looks sick. In this pose, I know exactly this venue. I know where it is. But this shot, real good. Are there better shots? Probably. But, like, the way that this is, like, this looks real nice. Like, I like what they did with it. And plus, whenever they do the back to back to back, oh my god, it's so funny. Like, it's cool, but like, it's funny. I love them. I love the guys. And yeah, thank you guys for listening, watching, doing what you do, and all that other stuff. But as I look at the time, I think you already know what's happening. So long, farewell. I'm gonna have to say goodbye. And goodbye. It's not midnight here anymore, but it's midnight somewhere else. So until it becomes midnight here once again, I will see you later. Bye-bye.